They call me a professor of media innovation, but I actually think I should be called a professor of the inconvenient truth. The reality is I have made a research career essentially out of disentangling media hype from reality, from busting research myths and delivering truths back to unsuspecting marketing managers. But for me, the penny dropped at the 2012 ARF Rethink conference when the then ARF president, Bob Barocci, said in his keynote opening address, I might add, so I've got big shoes to fill, he said that in the age of digital, change is happening ahead of learning. Change is happening ahead of learning. And this significantly resonated with me. This is absolutely so true. In medical research, the path to application is slow. It can take years before drugs hit the store and applications are allowed. So they are all about replication and extension and replication and extension. They look for significant sameness across multiple sets of data. And this takes time. Good research takes time. So in medicine, learning happens before change. In our industry, where research is largely unregulated, a study can be turned around in days, sometimes even hours, with little thought as to whether the findings are anything more than a fluke. I want to tell you about my next phase, which is, wait for it, artificial intelligence. There's another buzzword. So I'm already up to, what, 2 or 3 or 4? And machine learning, oh my God, another one, in my research. The exciting thing about AI, it does exactly what Bob Barocci said was missing in 2012 when he said that change is happening ahead of learning. It actually helps us to learn faster than the rate of change. So essentially for me now, going forward, my life has changed quite considerably. I am absolutely going headfirst into this space. I think there are so many areas, and in particular working towards meaningful metrics, but there are so many areas that I can use this tech, and the reaction from our global community has just been incredible. So I think what I can see a trend happening is that marketing managers are not spending more on media, but they're getting smarter with their media spend. So a good place for me to start was to incorporate this AI into rigorous and meaningful metrics so that I can establish some better baselines and that I can start collecting and doing research quicker. So for me, one of the biggest pet hates is the use of self-report and the use of retrospective explicit memory. So I'm working towards an implicit, so it's subconscious, not conscious, recollection, passively collected metrics, which mean that they are in essence in background, so you don't even know that it's happening. Obviously there's still ethical issues and there are opt-ins, I get it all, but we're doing it a lot more passively to capture subconscious behaviour. In the age of AI, media research not in real time is redundant. And it's not to be snobby about it, but the reality is we can do it quicker. We don't need to rely on retrospective data from Excel or a CSV file. We can just do it in real time and then react to customers in real time as well. And I'll talk about some of those projects, which I'm sure you've heard of before. So we're actually working towards a universal measure of attention so that I can use it more frequently as dependent variables for real-time viewer engagement. I don't know if you've heard of this concept of the attention economy, but many leading academics are talking about attention being absolutely the single most valuable commodity to brand marketers in the future, and that's because it's so scarce and it's so hard to collect. And what's awesome about attention when collected biometrically is it transcends media types. So, that whole cross-media issue is, can be closed. We've already talked about viral and my love-hate relationship with that word. But I will say that with all of this, it's about my agenda to stop advertisers obsessing on whether their content will go viral. If I hear that one more time, I might slap someone. And making sure that they start obsessing over whether the right content is being seen, particularly relative to brand growth. So it has to be linked to brand growth.